The story of Abijah and Jeroboam is one of the narratives found in the Bible, specifically in the Old Testament in the 2 Chronicles, chapter 13, which addresses the conflict that arose between the kingdom of Judah, led by King Abijah, and the kingdom of Israel, led by King Jeroboam. Abijah was the son of King Rehoboam, the king of Judah, and the grandson of King Solomon. Jeroboam, on the other hand, was the first king of the northern kingdom of Israel after the division of the kingdom established by David and Solomon. After the death of King Solomon, the kingdom split into two: the kingdom of Judah in the south under the rule of the house of David, and the kingdom of Israel in the north under the leadership of Jeroboam son of Nebat, who led a revolt against Rehoboam, the son of Solomon. Jeroboam managed to control 10 tribes, leaving Judah and Benjamin under the rule of Judah. After the division, Jeroboam built new altars and set up golden calves for the people to worship in Bethel to prevent them from going to Jerusalem for worship, which the kings of Judah considered a rebellion against the true worship of God in Jerusalem. As tensions escalated between the southern kingdom of Judah led by Abijah and the northern kingdom of Israel led by Jeroboam, the two armies faced each other in a plain near Mount Ephraim, where Abijah gathered his army of 400,000 soldiers, while Jeroboam's army was much larger, consisting of 800,000 soldiers. The numerical superiority on Jeroboam's side indicated that he had the upper hand, but Abijah was confident in God's support for him and his kingdom, believing that his right to rule was based on the covenant God made with David and his descendants. Before the battle began, Abijah delivered an impactful speech to his army, reminding the soldiers that they were fighting not only to defend their kingdom, but also for the divine covenant that granted the house of David the right to rule. Abijah stated that Jeroboam had rebelled against this covenant, and that the idolatry introduced by Jeroboam in Israel, through the establishment of golden calves in Bethel and Dan, was a great sin and a direct challenge to the worship of God in the Jerusalem temple. Abijah encouraged his soldiers to trust in God, promising them that God would grant them victory despite the numerical superiority of the Israelite army. As the battle commenced, Jeroboam devised a strategic plan aimed at outmaneuvering the army of Judah, executing a double maneuver known as encirclement. Jeroboam sent a portion of his army to flank behind Abijah's army, while his main forces confronted Abijah's army from the front, intending to trap them from both sides, leaving the army of Judah surrounded from the front and back. This situation was extremely critical for Abijah and his army, as their fate seemed sealed by Jeroboam's meticulous plan. Faced with this difficult situation, Abijah and his army found no way out but to turn to God. The soldiers of Judah cried out loudly, calling upon God for help and victory, and they blew the trumpets as a sign of prayer and a call to God. God responded to their plea and provided divine support, which unexpectedly turned the tide of the battle in favor of Judah. Seeing that God had answered, Judah's army regained their enthusiasm and surged powerfully against Jeroboam's army. As a result, the Israelite forces broke apart and suffered a significant defeat. Despite Jeroboam's numerical advantage, Judah's army achieved a sweeping victory, with around 500,000 soldiers from Jeroboam's forces killed in this battle, a massive loss. Abijah and his army returned victorious. The battle concluded with Abijah and the kingdom of Judah victorious, strengthening his position as the legitimate king and reaffirming the house of David's authority over Judah. Abijah was also able to reclaim some cities that had been under Israel's control, such as Bethel, Jeshanah, and Ephron, along with their surrounding villages. These victories restored some balance between the two kingdoms, though Israel remained an independent kingdom. This story is considered an example of how faith and trust in God, even in the face of challenging circumstances,